The show is me, Curtis G. We're going to start off today in Los Angeles. A television show I did years ago, KTLA. We've got a good little recipe as well as talking about my passion for literacy. Then another passion, something I really love working with. Some of the best work I've done in my life was when I was working with traveling the country, teaching people with diabetes like myself how to prepare good meals that taste good and also good for your body. Then I'm going to talk to you about social media, my social media presence, what I'm trying to do with the social media and those type things. I'm going to come back home to San Francisco with a piece that KABC did for me, KGO back in the day, but KABC, Channel 7, again, deal with my passion for literacy. Another thing, one of the reasons I got into television was to promote not only literacy, but also how to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. Joe Carcioni was one of my mentors, so I'm going to give my tips on buying fresh foods. I'm going to end the show with a segment that I absolutely love, Mama Latanzio. We lost her a couple of years ago, and back in Syracuse, she was a bright light in Syracuse as well as Marin County, Northern California, whenever she and Papa Latanzio visited back in the day. All right, y'all. Hope you enjoy the show as much as I enjoy putting it together for you. Peace, and as always, spread.
Of the popular Pick of the Day show on the TV Food Network, he is here to share his culinary skills.
Hi,
There's
Mom.
an amazing story about learning how to read. Hi, Mom.
Mom's in Georgia, though. She can't see that.
You know, we're actually seen in Georgia.
Hey, well, let's do this then. Which one? That's with the red light, right? I haven't done this in so long. TV, live TV. Hey, live. Okay, I love you, Mom, and you. Before we get started, I got to thank the folks at La Montrose because they hooked me up, Carlos.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a pot. I hadn't have a pot or a pan. I wouldn't dare do that. Barbara left us, dang it.
Yeah.
I want to cook for her. Anyway,
well, cook for me.
The folks at La Montrose,
like
thank you guys for all this good stuff. Well, you and me both. We can't do Tybo and Marin.
We got it going on.
So we can't get like your sidekick over there all fine and stuff. So what are we talking about? I'm gonna
minute pasta, right?
In a minute pasta. Okay. Most of us Americans or LAans, what is it when you live in LA?
I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different things.
Los Angelinos?
Angelinos.
Angelinos? Okay. When you live, most of us have some type of salad dressing in the refrigerator.
Yes.
So this is a recipe. If you're in a hurry, you want to get a meal on the table that's really good and tasty in 15 minutes or less. What I've done is dice some vegetables. I've got onions, yellow pepper, red pepper, and some green onions here. So we just dice them up. Any of your favorite vegetable, you can add zucchini or the tomato, which nowadays is coming from Otay, a little bit south of San Diego. A lot Otay Mesa. You know it. Me too, baby. So anyway, what we've done is dice those up. I've got a little bit of oil in the pan, Carlos, and we're just going to drop that in the pan, okay?
All right.
Now let that saute 3 minutes or more. Or less, you know.
I thought this was 1 minute
well, I call it in a minute, just you know, to catch the eye of everybody.
Gotcha. Okay.
So while we're chatting about the reading program, we'll let this cook for a little bit. One of the great things about cooking meat-free, which I do, is that you don't have to worry about undercooking your food. Okay,
right.
you can have the vegetables nice and exactly. You can eat them raw or a little al dente. Just a minute or two to heat them up nicely. That's what we want to do here.
Okay, you just said al dente, and there's a lot of phrases, and there's cookbooks. There's a lot of words that you don't know.
Exactly.
And sometimes I feel illiterate when I read this. Now, this is an amazing story. Up until age 26, you managed to fake your way through life, not knowing how to read. How did you do that?
Oh man, I get tingles when we talk about that, even to this day. I mean, I am probably the most blessed guy you're going to meet, Carlos, and God is where it comes from for me. I'm not like Mr. Bible Thumper, but I do know where it's at. And for 26 years, I mean, I graduated from high school. I went to Southern University in Louisiana, then transferred to the University of Georgia, and I couldn't read. But
you answered like essay questions, and you scribbled, and they'd make you orally answer the questions. That's how you got around.
I mean, my personality, at an early age, I knew I had two things going for me: a good personality, and I could remember stuff. And I used those things. I mean, I made friends real easily. And nowadays, when I talk to kids, one of the things I tell kids, whether it's in the inner city or out in the country where I grew up, is that when you get more flies with honey. You know, if someone likes you, they'll help you. So kids who are watching us this morning, or parents, talk to those kids. Let them know a good guy can go a long way. Now, once you learn to read, I mean, I'm telling you, my whole life has changed. And that's what we're here about today is the incredible reading rally, which starts March 1, runs through the 14th. And we're raising money for LVA. If you read a book, oh, you the man. Y'all the people in L.A., I'm telling you. The incredible reading rally. And, oh, that's my website. We've got information about it. Or you can LVA has a website as well. Download their information from there. But what we're doing is getting people to pledge to read books and get money for the amount of books they read, and that money goes to help LVA.
Oh, okay.
And it takes $100 to teach a grown-up like me who couldn't read to read. $100. And one of the things I tell people when I'm talking about helping reading programs is when you teach someone to read, Carlos, you not only, you know, change their life, you save their lives. And my two tutors, Steve and Jenny, I mean, they took this guy who was about to fall through the cracks, you know, and become one of those down and out of the downtrodden. And now, man, I paid too many taxes, you know what I'm saying? So I feel very strongly that in this country, and I try to do this as much as I can, is that those of us Americans, I mean, this is the one problem I feel very strongly that we can unite around, whether we're black, white, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. Illiteracy, I mean, it doesn't care if you're black or white or rich or poor. If you can't read, you're in trouble,
But
man.
I'll tell you what, Curtis, there are a lot of people who don't have the courage to say, look, I can't read.
Right.
They're still faking their way through life.
Exactly.
And it's dangerous, and really, don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed of not being able to read.
That is our message. Now, we're going to wrap this up. Folks, try to get some information from the Incredible Reading Rally.
Let's get to it.
We're
Okay.
going to add our pasta. Now,
All right, can I do
don't
that?
look at that pasta, because Wolfgang is watching. He's going to say, Curtis, what'd you do to that pasta? So, no close-ups on the pasta, please. What we're going to do here is toss our pasta in, add our favorite salad dressing. If you like a little vinaigrette type, we're going to add a bit of that, or a creamy type of dressing. Now, we'll toss that over, Carlos, I'm sorry. And
I
we
can
are
be
ready
Italian
to go.
today. That's
You'll
okay.
be Italian today? Hey, come on,
I'm cooking at the pasta.
You're the man,
I can be
okay?
Italian. Carlos, okay.
Let's plate this up. And on the way out, I want to remind everyone, LVA, Literacy Volunteers of America, are teaching a lot of people to read, and there's some great literacy programs right here in L.A., the L.A. Literacy Coalition. So please teach somebody to read, okay?
Curtis Aikens, thank you so much.
Here, high five. On my TV show, Pick a Day, we do 8 hugs a day.
Oh, I like
Gotta
that.
get them, gotta give them. Peace and love.
All right, we'll be right back with more in just a moment. Ow! Ooh, that's okay.
Just because you're diabetic doesn't mean you can't have delicious, great-tasting food. And I'm going to show you how. Hi, I'm Curtis Aikens, and as you may know, I'm a diabetic. And there are 2 myths we're going to tackle today. Now, the first myth is that diabetics can't have carbohydrates. Yes, they can. But you got to be careful how many you take in. The second myth is that diabetics can't eat fried foods. Well, I'm a Southern boy, and I love fried food, especially Mama's fried chicken. So why don't we make some of Mama's fried chicken today? Now, the key is portion control. What's a portion, you say? About the size of your palm, okay? Remember that. That's an easy little visual. I want you to take a look at something. Now, follow me down here. You see this piece of chicken breast? Most restaurants, they call that a portion. About 3 to 4 ounces is a portion, okay? Now, let me show you how to take this one breast and make 3 portions out of it, okay? Here we go. Now, I'm going to take and cut it right in half, like so. And take a look at that. Now, if the portions seem too large for you, you can always cut them down. Now, that looks like a nice little portion, probably about 3.5 to 4 ounces, the size of my palm. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this piece, on the other hand, it's about the size of my palm, but look how thick it is. So what I'm going to do is just butterfly that, okay? Butterfly means to slice it through the middle, okay? You can take and slice that. Remember, all these tricks of the trade that the chefs know, we're going to teach you right here. Remember the fried food myth. The key is measuring. You don't have to deep fry it. I'm going to pan fry this with about 3 tablespoons of peanut oil. And I'm using peanut oil today. Why? Because peanut oil not only has an incredible flavor, but it has a very high smoking point. In other words, you can cook at a high, hot temperature, okay? I've got a little flour and some herbs in here. I've got some dry tarragon, some rosemary chicken, doesn't that sound good? And I've got some oregano in this little bag. No salt. Why? Because diabetics, we don't need a whole lot of salt in our body because of that friction that salt causes in the bloodstream. But ask your doctor about that. I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on television. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I've got an egg white, not the egg yolk. I've whipped it up, aerated it, and I'm going to add my chicken, just kind of coat my chicken into that egg white. Just kind of get everything in there and turn it over, my chicken portions, right? Then we're going to take and drop that into our flour because the oil is getting nice and hot.
this is not a big heavy duty coating, okay? What we're doing here is layer and flavor. Got a little egg white, no yolk, okay? Just the egg white, right? And I've got my flour with the different herbs, okay? If you wanted to add some curry, whatever you like, you can add to this. We're gonna drop them in, okay? 2 pieces. Gonna shake that up just a little bit. There's a little air in that baggie. There, shake it up. Then we're gonna add the other pieces, right? Just make sure everything gets nice and dusted, okay? So easy. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Now, the reason we use a peanut oil, do you remember? Nice high smoking point. It cooks our chicken quickly, and the meat doesn't absorb that fat, okay? That's a good point I want you to remember, okay? Now let me show you this dusting of flour. Look how that egg white just holds. Isn't that gorgeous? So we're not deep frying, we're pan frying. Fried chicken. Not a whole lot of salt. In fact, no salt. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, I wish we had smell-o-vision. Myth number 2, pasta. Diabetics can have pasta. Again, I'm one of those knuckleheads that love pasta, okay? But remember, it's about portion control. Is that a portion? No. Is that a portion? No. That's a portion, right? That palm is a portion, okay? You want it to taste good. And then we're cutting down on the salt, cutting down on other. How do you do that? Well, I like to talk about layering flavors. Today with my pasta, I'm gonna serve onions. 1, 2, 3, 4 different onions and tomato over my pasta. So wait. And remember, it's important to measure 1-2 tablespoons of oil in a non-stick surface. Non-stick is a great utensil for those of us who are trying to cut down the amount of fat that we cook with, okay? You gotta have fat, okay? Just like carbohydrates, the body needs fat. And remember, let's face it, fat has flavor, but too much fat is not a good thing. Onions, when you slice them thinly, that helps to release the flavor. Thick pieces of onion takes longer to cook as well. Let's take a look at our pasta sauce, how it's coming along. Oh, the onions, tomatoes are really brown. Look at all the juices in there. And we're just about ready to add our pasta and the green onions. Add the green onions late because they don't take as long to cook, okay? So I'm just gonna put those right in there, okay? Stir it just a little bit because we want that spring green onion, that scallion flavor. Now look at that. Oh, so I'm gonna make kind of an opening in the middle to add our pasta. Okay, I've got my plate divvied up there. There's my pasta. That's about a portion, right? And I'm gonna add my chicken, fried chicken, right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm gonna serve that up. And what do you think? Does that look good? What a gorgeous meal, right? Carbohydrates, fried food, bust those myths. It's a great meal, healthy meal for diabetic or not, just good food.
Hey, I'm Curtis Aikens. Welcome to this part of my social media. There's also the Instagram, X, formerly known as, I forgot what it's formerly known, Twitter, something like that. Facebook, us mature people, we love Facebook. Anyway, social media, my thoughts on it. I think it's wonderful to be able to keep in touch with friends across the country, around the world. It's kind of cool. We get to watch each other's babies grow up and they become grown men. I have 2 of them. My boys are grown, so they got their own thing to their own life to live, and I'm very proud of them. About me, I got in the media world to promote literacy. I did not learn to read until I was 26 years old. I graduated from high school, went to college. I was at Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I still have some great friends, go Jaguars. Transferred to University of Georgia, 1980, when they won a national championship. I was a red shirt, sitting out that whole year. It was a very tough thing to do, being an athlete although not a smart, a bright, a reading athlete, still to watch your team, the people you know, go on and become national champions. So, you know, big shot I am. I go to Coach Dooley's office and say, Coach, I'm gonna leave and go to California. He said, bye. You know, it's like, whoa, I really wasn't expecting that, although I wanted to move to California. Anyway, I digress. I remember Coach Russell saying, Aikens, what's wrong with you? Why you leaving? You know, and I'm like, no one knew at that time that I could not read nor could I write. So yeah, that's what I got in this business for, is to promote literacy. I'm going to change notes on you. I'm a master gardener now. In fact, fast forward to the person I am now. I have an undergraduate degree in liberal studies, my master's in education. I just became a master gardener this year in Marin County, and that made me think of that little guy right there. Look at that bumblebee. This is a dahlia. It's a beautiful little plant. I've got several of them in my yard, and you'll see if you explore this YouTube channel how much I love gardening. My grandfather, Granddaddy Curtis, W.H. Curtis Sr., was an incredible farmer. I am still connected to both my grandfathers. My father's first name was George. Granddaddy Curtis, of course, his last name was Curtis. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Georgia, and my sister Laura, Regina, and I went up to Adairsville, where Mom is from, and saw Granddaddy Curtis and Mama Corrine's grandmama's grave sites, and it just took me way back to those days. And yeah, that's what this channel is about. It's about sharing my passion for life, my passion for the culinary. I was one of the original chefs on Food Network, and I'll share those stories with you too. If you explore this channel, you'll see some of those. And as we move forward, I've got most of the shows that I did with the Food Network, and I dribble those videos out. I've got permission from my producers to do that, so I'm not breaking any copyright rules. Yeah, I'm a blessed dude. Again, like I said, I learned to read at age 26 and got into business to show people that if Curtis Aikens can do it, you can do it. That means whether it's learning to read, start your own business. I ran my first business, Peaches Produce, in my early 20s, and I couldn't read. So one of the things that I've learned over the years, and I hope to share this with anyone that hears me speak, whether it's in a motivational session or just watching me do my videos, is that it's okay to ask for help. What kept me from getting reading help most of those years was that I was too ashamed and embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I couldn't read and too ashamed to ask someone for help. Julie Silsby, I called a little sis as we're going through high school and junior high together. And I'll never forget sharing my story with her. And we were at, I think, Colony Square in Atlanta, and she just was hugging me and said, "Big brother, you could have asked me." And I said, "Oh, but it's not your fault, Julie. Love you, girl. You know that, Julie." Anyway, asking for help there's no shame in it. So if there's something that you're struggling with, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever it is, and I've gone through all those, I share with people two of the best things I ever did just for me. One, speak with a therapist. When I was going through my divorce back in my 30s, I'm telling y'all, there were a lot of dark days. I had two beautiful boys that I wanted to see, and was going through that struggle, you know. And I never really shared this with my children, nor with so many of my family members, because it was like, it's still that, you know, that tug at your heartstrings. You don't want people to know how bad you are hurting. Anyway, I get this is that life. I mean, I'm a blessed brother, and my personal motto is spread love. That's what I try to do, whether I'm sharing my heart or talking about bumblebees, little bees like that, or beautiful dahlias, or a recipe that I've found, or a restaurant I've gone to, or this person I met. You know, I mean, and I met some incredible people. One of the things that I love about Black folk, about me, my family, my where I'm from, it's like when we talk about someone who's gone on to that upper room, you know, they are still alive. So I share that. I share the stories of my mother, my grandfathers, my dad, my brother Jeffrey. He was a preacher in the family. So as long as we talk about them, we speak their names, they stay alive. So yeah, I'm way all over the place. And that's what my YouTube channel is. It's all over the place. When I was in that television world, you know, they tried to keep us in a box. I'm like, I'm not a box. I've never thought in a box. I'm not an in the box thinker. I don't even know what that term means. Get out of the box to think of. There's never been a box. So if you've got questions, whether it's about reading, cooking, how to do something, send them to me. Be right here on this YouTube channel. I'll try my best to answer it. And if I can't answer it, I know where to find the answers, okay? You can call me the answer getter guy. Not answer guy, the answer getter guy. All right, I'm having fun. Hope you are. Enjoy the channel. Tell your friends about it. Send me an email, curtisaikens.net, chef@curtisaikens.net, correction. All right, y'all. Peace. Again.
Folks, we got some beautiful melons, okay?
Curtis Aikens is a produce expert turned TV personality. He's the garden grocer on ABC TV's Home Show. Today, Aikens is at home in Nevada with his family, which includes 6-week-old Curtis Jr.
Looks pretty good.
He's cooking up a recipe that he'll share on national television with his fans. Aikens' painful past recently caught up with him while he was co-hosting the Home Show with Sarah Purcell. Before millions of viewers, he stumbled on a word on live television.
Attach this decoder to your cable box or VCR and tune it to your favorite primetime programs. The national this is one of the tough things about reading is
you're doing a good job.
The National, help me, that
Captioning.
word. Captioning Institute has found that by hearing and seeing words,
You're doing great. Oh, Curtis, you're doing wonderfully well. Do you want me to finish it for you?
Please.
Okay.
Aikens had a flashback.
He said later that it just transported him back in a flash to all of those times when he couldn't read and he was stuck somewhere as a kid. And he said it just flooded over him, and he lost it.
Aikens only learned to read several years ago at the age of 26. He was still haunted by the shame of it.
Here I was on national television, and I felt like I had totally embarrassed myself. The literacy people, the people who had taught me to read, I thought, oh no, I've let all these millions of folks down.
Aikens was among the 27 million Americans who are illiterate, meaning they can't read a newspaper, fill out a job application, or read a bus schedule. Aikens bluffed his way through school, scribbling illegible answers so teachers would be forced to ask him questions verbally.
By the time we'd answered 3 or 4 questions, oh, you know the information, and I got a passing grade. And that happened right on in through high school into college.
Aikens says hiding his secret was a daily battle. He finally lost his business because of his inability to read, and like most illiterate adults, he was too ashamed and embarrassed to ask for help.
I always thought I was the only one. Then I saw a TV spot like this one and realized I could learn.
The turning point came one night while Aikens was watching television. He heard a public service message much like the one he's taping today. Aikens met Jenny Hartman, a volunteer tutor with the Marin Literacy Project.
I mean, here was a man who was basically a owner of a company writing out checks for people and not even knowing what his produce forms and things were. So I think it took a lot of courage for him to admit to someone that he couldn't read.
Aikens spent 7 months making sense out of a lifetime puzzle.
It is like being in a totally dark room. It's like being in a totally pitch black room and someone turns the light on.
Aikens has since authored his own produce book. Half of the proceeds go toward literacy projects. And when he's not writing, he's reading.
I love to read. I read to little Curtis every night.
I'm Don Sanchez for ABC News.
Buying fresh and sweet foods. I got your back. If you have questions, send them to me. Do you know what to look for when choosing a fresh pineapple? Well, I do. Can you cook winter squash? Oh, apples, don't you just love them? One a day keeps the doctor away. How about a ripe avocado? Good question, right? Are all bananas created the same? Let's have fun choosing good bananas. The Envy apple. I may have a new favorite. Later on, let's get to shopping for some fresh produce. I think there are 5 keys to buying fresh foods, produce in particular for me. 1, look at it, make sure it looks good. So like this apple, this Fuji apple, that's a beautiful apple, okay? I'm bringing it closer for you, okay? So it passed the beauty test, all right? If there are any moles or not moles, but any soft spots, I want to avoid that, okay? So look at it. Second tip is feel it. Make sure it be nice and firm. It should be heavy for its size. that lets you know it's really still plump and it's going to be a juicy apple. Got that? That's 2. What's the third one? Smell it. Use that nose. Joe Cartroni would always tell me, says, Curtis, put your nose in a box of tomatoes. You can smell if there's something bad in there. Put your nose in a box of oranges. You can smell if there's something bad in there. So use that nose. And that apple has a nice fresh aroma, okay? 4. Wow, 4. You liking these so far? Buy what's in season. So look at the market today. Apples were prevalent. I've got 4 or 5 different apples. Citrus is good in the market, right? And pineapples always, they're brought from the tropics, so they're always in season, but they do travel a bit of the ways, right? So buy what's in season. That leaves a 5th tip, right? Number 5, fits on our hand, right? Get to know your produce person, okay? Whoever's filled in that market, get to know them. Today I went in and I saw a young man named Christoph, right? Christoph was in there, beautiful ponytail, good looking dude, right? About as tall as I am, right? And he doesn't know me. He doesn't know me from Adam. But I did say to him, Christoph, tell him about these apples. He says, oh, you like tasting apples? So I tasted a couple, and I said, well, what's your favorite? He walked me over to a California Beauty, a Bee Beauty. I tasted it, I go, oh my goodness, I have a new favorite apple. So get to know your produce person. He or she can tell you when the things came in, how long they've been on the shelf, how good they are, and a lot of times you ask them, they'll let you sample, okay? Those are our tips today. As Joe Cartroni would say, that's your fresh vegetable tip of the day. But I can't steal Joe's line. He's a great man. Peace, everybody. Hi friends, this is Mama Latanzio. This week, heaven gained another angel, and we lost a beautiful soul. My condolences to the family, Vince, your brothers, your sisters, her grandkids and great-grandkids. Mama Latanzio was one of a kind. I loved her dearly, and you will be missed, but never forgotten, Mama. We love you. Famous Latanzio tater tots. Mom, look what Vince is serving me for appetizers.
Yeah, Mom, don't say nothing, Mom.
Oh, quando dico sto, la viene mi amato. Caro letto, io ti vedo qui a tremar. Oggi ho beato. Oh, quando ti costò, la vieni amato. Oh, quando ti costò, la vieni amato. Fine.
I had the pleasure of meeting Mama Latanzio, 30, 40 years ago, and was there for her 90th birthday party. These are some of the pictures of the food, meat course, pasta course, cookie course. There were salad courses. I mean, Mama Latanzio was a sassy, beautiful, sweet, loving, kind woman. She reminds me so much of my mother. There was always room in her heart for more people and more love. She was known around Syracuse for these incredible gift baskets, Christmas baskets she made. And, you know, the folks in Syracuse and home in Italy, they're going to miss her. I'm going to miss her. I used to love just talking to her on the phone. Sweet, sweet Mama Latanzio. We love you. Hey friends, welcome to the show.